we have the summer busy season coming up just around the corner, and we're still, dealing with this pandemic. So if I can just kind of have you touch on what do you think people should be doing to prepare for the summer's busy season?
Well, yeah, I think Weldon touched on it, just a little ago, his last question, which is, what have you done in the past, right? I mean, just because, we're coming out of a unusual circumstance or situation doesn't mean that you should, necessarily do anything different than you've done in the past. You got to prepare for this summer, like you've prepared for the last several summers that you've been in business. Now, you might say the stakes are a little bit higher because you've taken some revenue hits, or you're down some people, or something of that nature. And so I think you have to take those things that might be in consideration out there for you. So if your revenue has taken a hit, you had to lay off some people, maybe you're going to look to bring those back. Then I think by all means you have to obviously take those things into consideration to do things different. But you should ready the workforce. You should obviously get the trucks clean. You should make sure that the stock is where it needs to be for the parts that are part of summer demand season. The stock, as far as whatever you're going to stock as far as equipment, if you stock equipment, parts, pieces, and materials as well. Have your I mean, you say summer, I say we're in the throes of spring, and so I would be readying actually probably be in the mail right about now, would be my tune-up marketing, to drive tune-ups, my indoor air quality marketing for spring indoor air quality and allergies and whatnot. My spring replacement offer will be dropping with my clients here in the next week, within the next week or two with most of my clients, so for the replacement opportunity, as well. So those things should, again, those are things we do every year, and we do them every year at the same time. So those things, like I said, are going to be no different. The things that I think are different are, what have you experienced? What has happened over the last few months that you have to adapt, adjust, and execute, to be ready? Maybe you got to go out and do some recruiting because you had to lay some people off and they got picked up. I know a lot of good people, unfortunately, that got let go from good companies, and they said, you know what, we're not going to sit on the sideline, and they went and took a job somewhere else. And so if things heat up, those people, those companies, excuse me, are going to have to find new people because their people are not sitting out there. So you may think about activating the recruiting engines right about now to ready yourself, because by the time you go through the recruiting process and get somebody onboarded, you're going to be in the throes of your summer planning process or summer execution process. So time now is ready, ready the workforce as well. We talked about it a little bit earlier, right, with interplay training. Not just interplay training, but any training that you're going to do. Again, you may have to take advantage of, you can't send them down to a school, maybe in Little Rock or any of the other technical schools that are out there, Houston and whatnot. But you may have to say, okay, what's available for me and my workforce to get them trained online? I was having a conversation with a couple of people yesterday that are looking to expand into system performance. And we have a nice relationship at EGIA with National Comfort Institute. They're one of our preferred vendors. And they're doing their classes online now. And so, get your people trained in combustion efficiency, refrigerant charging, airflow diagnostics. So again, those are things, like I say, you should always be doing anyway, but you obviously may have to think about new ways, reimagine the way you're deploying some of the things that you would normally do. And I think other than that, like I said, I think that goes back to what Weldon said. It's, yes, there's a anomaly that's in play to some extent, but like on the East Coast here, we get hit with hurricanes, and they come up, every so often. And then, so when a hurricane hits, you have to adapt, adjust, and execute. And this is just one of those other things. I don't think you have to really treat it as a super special event to say, okay, what is this moment calling for? How do I need to show up? How do I need to adapt, adjust, and execute as an individual? But how do I need to adapt, adjust, and execute as a business?
Drew, I want to add something to that comment. There are things that we did yesterday. We had our management meeting yesterday. The first thing that I would throw out is I think the equipment suppliers are going to run out of equipment. So having come from the supply business, my insights are it's tough to order compressors There's a timeline on compressors. It's easier to make furnaces and components that don't require that particular item. So we instituted a very large stocking order yesterday and basically said we ordered our full summer's inventory yesterday, which we normally would not do. So while I agree with most everything you said there, Drew, the one thing that we did differently is I'm not going to allow the suppliers to dictate my year. So I have the capital. Some companies may not have the capital, but we're not going to wait and see and hope that when the factories open up again that they planned well and that they're going to be able to create inventory, because they don't have certain parts of the stock. So that decision was made based on the set of principles is, hey, we're already seeing some areas where we're not getting what we need and we're having to go to other suppliers. So we checked that box and said, do it. Just put the order together and get it shipped. And if they give us terms or they don't give us terms, we don't care. We're buying the equipment and we're putting it in based on our sales plan, because we've gotten busy out west. The weather pattern has hit. Second thing that we did is we increased the wages of all of our team members yesterday. We literally gave everybody a raise. So we're not willing to accept the idea that your recruiting efforts are going to target our people, and a stronger, bigger, healthier company is going to do that, which is, we're trying to do the same thing. Wally's talking about, hiring people, so he's out doing what we're talking about. So if I have a team member and, they get an opportunity to see a wage that's different, and they're good at their work, they may elect, to move to a different organization. So hopefully culturally we do a good enough job. That's not true, but anyway, we gave everybody, an incremental raise yesterday on principle, just because we're coming into the season and we wanted to defend. We felt like we could do it, and so we did. With the Paycheck Protection Program, that doesn't harm us either. We were able to be funded on that. So we just felt like that was a very good strategic decision. It's not a normal decision. We definitely would not normally do that. And then the third box that we checked is we created a promotion that's going to run in season. We normally would not run in season, and we would almost always on our media, we do quite a bit of radio, direct mail, obviously we're in the digital space. We are going out aggressively to the marketplace with a promotion in season. Now, we have increased the price a little bit to recognize the promotion and the financing costs that you're talking about. So if it's 12 months, no payments, there's going to be an expense. So we feel like that it's an opportunity to also look at acquisitions. So to me, the marketplace is, it's a chessboard, and we're taking some risks. I'm not saying these are good risks. They're definitely risks. But those are three things we did differently as it relates to this particular environment. So you're talking about like a hurricane happened. It's a black swan event. We didn't predict it. We didn't know it was going to happen, but we're reacting execution-wise based on those criteria. So we did all three of those things yesterday, and I'll let you know how it works out in about 90 days.
No, and I appreciate you adding that commentary, and I probably made an assumption there about that would be something I would do every year anyway. Every season would be checked with my suppliers. How are parts? How is inventory? Am I going to be able to get things? Because again, you never know what the seasonality does bring. And you're saying obviously because the factories haven't been working, that there's a possibility that stock could run out in certain areas of the country. So by all means, you should always check with your supplier about parts availability, equipment availability. And like Gary's doing, I know he typically would prefer just-in-time inventory, so he doesn't have to outlay that capital. But again, smart move to go ahead and take a stocking order. And so you may have to do that. And again, I would ask for terms. They would love that probably to give you terms too. And I don't know if you got terms on that or not, Gary. Did you?
Not sure. I know he asked. I don't know what the answer is. We put the order in irregardless. So.